Bună ziua și bine ați venit la, sau revenit la interviurile noastre din Parlamentul European. Astăzi invitatul nostru este Sven Mikser, europarlamentar socialist din Estonia, care luna trecută a prezentat un raport în Parlamentul European bazat pe rapoartele anilor 2023-2024, care era foarte favorabil pentru situația Republicii Moldova în drumul său spre Europa. Mr. Sven Mikser, thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting our invitation. You presented last month that report on Moldova, but first of all, I would like to say something about you. You are a member of the Committee on Foreign Affairs in the European Parliament, the Committee on Security and Defense, the Committee for the Delegation for Relations with the United States, and the substitute for the relations with the NATO Assembly. That's a unique situation. You have an eagle's view on all these problems.
Well, the Defense Committee in the European Parliament was only recently upgraded into the full committee status. It previously used to be a subcommittee of the Foreign Affairs Committee, but obviously since the prominence of defense and security as a policy area for the Union has increased enormously over the last several years, it's natural that the Parliament has a separate committee. But basically, I have always, as a politician, as an elected politician, dealt with foreign and security policy affairs, even during my previous career in national politics. So it was a natural choice for me to be a member of those committees.
Your report last month received an approval with a huge majority. And what can we take from it concerning Moldova's chances of accession to the EU?
I think the voting result reflected the very broad support that Moldova enjoys as a candidate country for the European Union in this House.
It received approval even from Eurosceptic parties.
Obviously, on the margins, there are some very Eurosceptical voices in this Parliament that do not support their own country's membership in the Union, so you cannot expect them to support further enlargement of the Union. But of the main broad pro-European parties, I think the report and Moldova's accession as such enjoys almost consensual, almost unanimous support. Obviously, the Parliament is not the decisive institution when it comes to enlargement negotiations.
But it has the last word.
It will have to approve the final outcome. But right now, when we are eagerly looking forward to the opening of the first clusters of negotiations, we don't have a huge role. But obviously, we can put pressure on the other institutions and expect the view of our voters.
In what way can you apply pressure?
Well, basically, we can make our voice heard, express the voice of the European voters, because we are the institution that is supposed to express the opinion of the European voters.
The only elected
body, but essentially it's the same set of voters in each member state who vote also for the national parliaments, and so I think that it's better for the governments when they meet around the council table to take our voice very seriously.
Speaking of governments, you just met for the third time, I guess, with Mr. Mihail Popșoi, the Moldovan foreign minister. What did you have to tell him?
Well, basically, I was very much in a listening mode because obviously, as a rapporteur on Moldova, I want to be regularly updated and briefed on the developments inside the country. So rather than lecture Moldovan politicians, I prefer to listen to their views and hear what they have to tell me, and also what they expect of the European Parliament in particular.
And also coming from two previously member states of the Soviet Union, you must understand, both of you, the Soviet mentality, the Russian mentality.
Well, basically, I think in the current security situation, we are more alert to the dangers. We have possibly a more realistic situational picture or awareness of the threat. Although I have to say that over the past 3-4 years, even our colleagues from the Western European countries
have become more alert.
Have become much more alert. But I think that we still have some way to go till we come to an absolutely harmonized threat assessment across the Union.
In the beginning, Estonia was looked upon as a catastrophistic country, exaggerating the Russian danger. Do you really think this has changed?
Well, obviously, immediately after Russia waged this full-scale war against Ukraine, we had this "we told you so" moment, which I don't think that we needed to sort of over-exploit.
That's not Schadenfreude.
Yes, but I think that we used to tell our colleagues from the Western European countries that we are not paranoid about the past. We are genuinely worried about what the future might hold. And I think that yes, the threat picture today is by no means less complex, less complicated than it used to be. So I think it's important that we improve our preparedness against conventional threat scenarios as well as hybrid and non-conventional threat scenarios, that we understand that the threats are not only limited to the immediate neighbors of Russia, that Russia very actively tries to interfere and intervene in democratic processes, even in countries and regions that are geographically quite far away from the borders.
You are also in a very delicate position because you are the Baltic country that has the biggest Russian population, Russian-speaking population.
Well, the Latvians, I believe the proportion of Russian speakers in Latvian population is slightly larger, but anyway,
really?
it doesn't really. I mean, we do not.
Anyway, more than 20%.
Well, we have a significant Russian-speaking population in Estonia, and many of them are loyal citizens, vote in Estonian elections, hold Estonian passports. There are others who are permanent residents who do not hold Estonian passports, who vote in Russian elections. But I think that the threat, as we see it, it comes from across the border. So we don't. We try to keep our own residents and citizens as well informed about the threat picture and potential threat scenarios, and as loyal to Estonia as possible. And I think it's the same across the Union in all member states. So the threats from within that perhaps threaten our democratic way of life. They come from populism, they come from political extremism, but these are
use of new technologies.
These are not necessarily tied to a person's or a family's mother tongue or ethnicity. So I think it has a lot to do with the informational space in which those people live. And also technologies, yes. New technologies obviously come with benefits, but also with new hazards.
Hybrid war. Do you think people in the West understand the danger of such a hybrid war, like what happened in Crimea in 2014 with the little green man, the so-called Vejlivi Ljudi, which doesn't mean a brutal frontal attack on a country, but stimulating something from the inside?
I think more and more so, because when you think, for example, of the Russian attempts to interfere in the Romanian elections, but also the Russian hand that could really be, with hindsight at least, could clearly be seen in the Brexit referendum or in the Catalan vote in Spain, you come to understand that the Kremlin, the Putin regime, is not out to attack only territories they want to include in their imaginary empire, but they also want to discredit the Western liberal democracy as such. They want to divide democratic societies and turn them against themselves. So it's
like they did in Romania. You just mentioned that.
Yes, indeed. And but they take an opportunity and use it whenever it and wherever it presents itself.
Do you fear something like this for the Moldovan elections in September?
Obviously, Moldova is a target for Russian interference. We could see that, and I think the scale and the nature of this interference operation surprised many of us during the run-up to the constitutional referendum and the presidential election. This time, I think we are better prepared. Moldovans are much better prepared. We have tried to help them to improve the resilience against those attacks. But surely we can predict that we will see attempts to interfere in the upcoming elections.
What is your view about the position in Moldova and the future of the autonomous regions of Transnistria and Gagauzia? Do you think they will try to spoil the elections? Do you think they will? They are a heavy burden for Moldova. How do you assess the situation?
Well, basically, the Moldovan authorities have made it absolutely clear that the intention is to resolve all these outstanding issues peacefully. And that's, I think, the right way to go. I believe that people in Transnistria, people in Gagauzia, they will see that the future lies in Europe. I think that people in Transnistria could see that very clearly during the energy crisis when the Russians left them out in cold, and Europe jumped in to actually take action.
But still, Transnistria refused a package of tens of millions of euros from Europe.
Well, the situation has not yet been conclusively resolved, obviously, and there are challenges ahead. But I think that with patience and with resolve, these outstanding issues can be resolved, and they will be resolved. And I trust the current Moldovan authorities to take a responsible approach to that.
Okay, you only had good words until now. Do you see any shortcomings in what Moldova is doing right now? Well,
obviously, there are many reforms that have not been completed. So the Moldovan authorities have the work cut out for them. Currently, the government enjoys a situation which is rather rare in that it has absolute majority in the parliament. It may well happen that in the future Moldova will have to be able to find a way of running the country in a coalition government and without slowing down the reforms, without losing the momentum. That may very well be a challenge. So we support the sovereign choices of Moldovan people. We believe that the majority of the Moldovan people see their country's future in the European Union, and that's their legitimate aspiration, and obviously we are there to support that. But the hard work will need to be done by the Moldovan people and Moldovan authorities.
I see you rather optimistic, but do you think the announced date of 2030 for the Moldovan accession to the EU, is it realistic?
Well, any country's accession to the European Union depends on the readiness. I mean, we have a pretty clear view of what needs to be achieved, what reforms will have to be implemented, what legislative changes will have to be made in order to qualify for the right to become a member. But thereafter, the decision is going to involve a very big political element. We've seen in case of some Western Balkans countries that even bilateral issues between countries can actually delay entry. What is important, though, is that these windows of opportunity, they will open and close. It's important that Moldova itself be ready when the window is open, because otherwise they may have to wait for a long time until the next chance comes. So I encourage the Moldovan authorities to do everything that is within their power to be ready and prepared. And then obviously I expect the European Union member states not to delay their decision, political decision, because of things that have nothing to do with Moldova's readiness.
I'm glad you mentioned this, and this is the very last question. It doesn't depend on Moldova, but do you think it can be taken away from the package with Ukraine that draws it back from the accession for the time being?
Well, obviously, Moldova's candidate status came in a package with Ukraine, and there was an enormous wish to express solidarity with Ukraine, and then also Moldova benefited from that. But I think that each country actually needs to advance on its own merit. So I don't think it's right to, you can use the opportunity and take countries along and perhaps help them along the way so as to take in a group of countries together, but you should not hold anyone back because of some broader geopolitical considerations. So I think that the advancement should happen based on individual merit.
But you think the destiny of Moldova is to be in the EU?
I very much believe so. I think that when we are speaking about Europe whole and free, then this Europe whole and free definitely needs to include Moldova.
Mr. Mikser, thank you very much. Sunt Dan Alexe. Vă amintesc că am stat de vorbă cu Sven Mikser, parlamentar socialist din Estonia, care a fost raportor pentru Moldova luna trecută pentru acel raport care a primit o foarte largă aprobare în Parlamentul European. Vă mulțumesc!